What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I'm here to give you guys my full card predictions for UFC 318. We've got Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier for the BMF. Dude, Dustin's gonna shine bright, man. We got Paulo Costa. I mean, who doesn't want to see Paulo Costa in the co-main of a pay-per-view? We got Roman Copilov, Kevin Holland, Dan Ige, Patricio Chihuahua's on the card, Michael Johnson's on this motherfucker. Atiba Gotier, I remember he's on the card. Yeah, Brendan Allen. Come on, dude. Brendan Allen, Marvin Vettori, Vinicius Olivivera, and the rest are nobodies. But hey, man, let's get into this. Starting off early prelims. And by the way, I'm going to be going absolutely insane on this card. I will be sweeping this card, dude. I'm locked in for this pay-per-view. My picks last week were trash. I'm ready to get it back in blood like I'm freaking King Von, dude. First fight of the night, we got Cari Judice versus Nicole Kaliario. All right, now, Cari Judice, I was going to get on here and be like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I should pick her. She's got a 4-2 record. She's from Louisiana. She has 4 wins, 4 finishes. Her 2 losses are by split decision. One of them is somebody that also beat Kaliario. I'm going to pick fucking Judice here, dude. She's low-key got some nice wins. Like, I looked into the people that she's beat. Some of them are like 10-1, like 8-3, like not bad records whatsoever. And she's losing to them by split decision. They're going on to beat other people easily. And all of her wins are by finish. She's got nasty striking. She's coming off a really good head kick KO in her last victory. I'm going to say she does get controlled a little bit in the grappling, but she does more damage and she wins by decision or maybe a late round TKO like round 3. But I'm going to say Cari Judice probably wins by unanimous decision, 29-28 to start off the card with a W for Louisiana. Next fight of the night, we got Bruno the Blockhead Ferreira versus Jackson McVeigh. I'm going to pick Bruno Ferreira by knockout. I think that Jackson McVeigh, I have watched tape on this guy because he was supposed to fight Cedric Dumas back at UFC 316, I believe, or 317. He's going to start out pretty sharp on the feet. Like, he is actually a pretty fast starter. He's pretty crisp on the feet early on. A little bit, like, stiff, but also weirdly quick and powerful. He has good body kicks. And he does have good submissions if you shoot a takedown early on against him. But I don't think that's going to happen in this fight. I think he's going to start out sharp, maybe mix in a takedown of his own to try and take down Bruno Ferreira and get to some, some submission positions, try and wear him out a little bit. I do think Bruno Ferreira is going to knock him out in the first round. I think he's going to rock him really bad with a big right hand and get the finish up against the fence. Like maybe he breaks away from a clinch position, lands a big hook and just drops Jackson McVeigh. I think that at the end of first round, maybe early second round, we're going to see Bruno Ferreira randomly drop a bomb and knock out Jackson McVeigh. Similar to the Dustin Stoltzfus fight, maybe Jackson McVeigh kind of climbs on his back and controls him for a little bit. But I think out in the open, if they stand and strike for long enough, I do think Bruno Ferreira is going to knock him out. So I'm going to say Bruno Ferreira by round 1, early round 2 at the latest, late round 1, early round 2 TKO for Bruno Ferreira. All right, man. Next fight of the night, we got Ryan Spann versus fucking Lucas Berski, dude. I fucking hate Ryan Spann. Like, I feel like I've been trying to fence it a little bit lately. I don't care anymore, dude. I fucking hate Ryan Spann. And a lot of it is because he beat Dominic Reyes, but also because everything this guy does just pisses me off. When I pick him, he's dog shit. He can't fight. When I don't pick him, he's randomly good at fighting. It's so infuriating to watch this guy. And not only that, he gets on the mic after his fights. I didn't even train for this fight. I didn't even try that hard for this fight. I didn't even train. And then he holds the fucking microphone like it's a wine glass. Like he's at a fucking vineyard, dude. Fuck you. But I'll be picking Ryan Spann because worst case scenario, he fights like a fucking brainlet and loses. I don't care. I'd be happy to see him lose. I do think he's going to win this fight though because he's fighting a randomly generated heavyweight that has been chinned by basically everyone in the UFC except for Volta Walker for some reason. Bro locked in when he fought Volta the Clean Monster Walker. But otherwise, it's just lost by TKO, lost by KO, lost by TKO. Just basically finished by everyone else in the UFC. Kennedy and Zechiku completely destroyed him in his last fight. Ryan Spann, he is coming off a loss, but he's also one fight before he beat OSP by submission pretty easily at UFC 307. So I'm going to say in this fight that Ryan Spann does rock Lucas Berski on the feet and then locks up a submission. Maybe a guillotine, maybe a fucking ninja choke, something like that. I'm going to say Ryan Spann wins by like round 2 submission. Early round 2, he just randomly rocks this guy, locks up a submission up against the fence, gets the tap, and acts like he just won the fucking world title. I'm going to say Ryan Spann does get this one, but I can't stress enough. I'm not going to be mad whatsoever if he loses. I'm not going to be fucking losing my marbles if he gets finished, bro. Fucking Ryan Spann, dude. All right, next fight on the early prelims. The thing about this card is, like, none of these individual fights are that bad, but it's just there's nothing outstanding on this card. These are all good prelims. Like, Jimmy the fucking Brute Crute, mate, versus Marcin Prachnio. I'm excited for this. I'm looking forward to seeing Jimmy the Brute Crute, get a fucking win. I'm picking Jimmy Crute by submission, dude. Jimmy Crute is not losing a fucking... Please don't lose the fucking Marcin Prachnio. Please, bro. Come on, dog. Lock in, man. I'm picking Jimmy Crute. I think that if he gets on top of you and he's actually able to control you, he's one of the most talented grapplers in the light heavyweight division. We've seen him submit Paul Craig back in the day when Paul Craig was actually kind of good. We've seen him knock people out on the feet as well, so we know that he's going to be able to rock Marcin Prachnio at some point. And I think this is going to be a scrap on the feet. Like, obviously, Jimmy Crute, he walks around... so many things I could say about Jimmy Crute. Number one, why does he walk around like... Why does he have a dump truck, bro? Like, I'm sorry, I just gotta say it like it is. Why is he got a dump truck, bro? That's number one. But number two, Jimmy Crute, the footwork is absolutely insane to watch from this guy. It's like watching a white Jamal Hill out there. And I do fuck with it. I think they're going to get scrappy on the feet. I think he's going to rock Marcin Prachnio at some point. I also think he's going to get rocked by Prachnio at some point. We saw Prachnio obviously whip up that fucking head kick against Modestas Pikauskas in the pocket. This guy does get scrappy. He is dangerous on the feet, but I think that at some point, he's going to think that he has Crute hurt more than he actually does, and he's going to rush into a takedown. Jimmy Crute's going to be able to, get a hold of him, end up on top. I think from the half guard, or maybe he passes to side control, I think Jimmy Crute's either going to get a Kimura or a head and arm choke and submit Marcin Prachnio in the second round. They get a little bit scrappy. Prachnio rushes him. Jimmy Crute locks him up with a body lock, takes him down, and either gets a Kimura or a fucking arm triangle choke to finally get a win for the first time in 4 fucking years. I can't wait to see it, mate. Australia's going to have 4 champs soon, mate. We're going to have fucking Bobby Knox when he beats Rainier Dorada. We're going to have bloody Volk. We're going to have JDM. And we're going to have bloody Jimmy the Brute Crute, mate. I can't wait to watch it at the pub, bro. Let's go, Jimmy Crute. Main event of the early prelims, we've got Islam Dulatov. Bro looks like fucking Batman in this picture. Versus Adam Fugit, dude. Why do I feel like people... Dude, Adam Fugit, man. I don't know, man. Adam Fugit's a freaking problem, dude. I'm picking Islam Dulatov by KO. I think that the biggest thing that I've seen with Dulatov, he does get scrappy. He is a little bit wild. I know that Fugit is a little bit crafty. You know, he has some solid grappling. He has decent power, I guess, but he's not spectacular at any one area, but he can craft up a decision. But Dulatov, if he backs you up to the fence, he's going to finish you. All of his fights you watch, every single person he backs up to the fence, he finishes them. He either pressures them into a bad takedown and submits them, which I could see happening here. I mean, Fugit got caught with something similar against Mike Malott. Just kind of got a little bit rocked, uncomfortable on the feet, jumped into a guillotine, got submitted. He also got chinned out cold by Michael Morales. So I do feel like Adam Fugit may be able to do something early on with the grappling, but I think at some point in round 2, Islam Dulatov's going to back him up against the fence, and I'm going to say either a left hook in close drops him, and then he follows up with some ground and pound, or I could see like a step-in knee. Like Fugit goes for it. I don't know how to say this guy's fucking name, dude. I'm trying to say a different word. But Fugit, maybe ducks into like a step-in knee on a takedown attempt and gets hit with follow-up punches up against the fence. I'm going to say Islam Dulatov does finish this guy, but he gets taken down. He gets controlled a little bit in the first round. Fugit tries to burn the clock a little bit and then gets finished in round 2. Those are my picks for the early prelims. Let's move on to the prelims. We got Atiba Gotier versus Robert Valentine. I'm going to pick fucking Atiba Gotier, dude. I rate this guy. I'm not going to overthink this. Like, I'm not going into these fights. You know what, dude? I'm not going to go into these fights predicting them, watching hours of tape. I'm not going to be in here doing void breakdowns of fucking Robert Valentine and all this stuff. I'm just going to look at who I think is going to win. based on their past couple of fights and what I know about them, I'm going to say Atiba Gotier wins this fight. I'm like Valentine, he's scrambly, he's wild, he has good grappling, but even then, he can get controlled. He got finished by Ryan Bloater. I'm sorry, but come on, dog, what are you doing? And I think that Atiba Gotier is going to be patient early on, and then randomly he's going to step into a big right hand up against the fence and drop Robert Valentine bad. Maybe he finishes him with an uppercut. Maybe he steps into a big leaping uppercut, or like I said, a big right hand, just steps in, boom, right hand down the pipe, drops Valentine bad. Or I could see him maybe pressuring Valentine back and kind of landing some good shots, and Valentine shoots for a takedown, and Gotier just kind of, hovers over him, lands some big ground and pound, puts him out with ground and pound after Valentine goes for a triangle or something, something like that off his back. I'm going to say in the first round, Atiba Gotier is just too powerful. I do think he's going to win this fight by knockout. I do rate him as a prospect. I know there's a lot of things we don't really know about him, but I'm going to trust his power in this matchup, especially against Valentine. You lost to fucking Torres Finney. You lost to fucking Ryan Bloater. That's the worst one by a mile. Yeah, I'm picking Gotier, man. Next fight of the night, we got Francisco Prado versus Nikolai Veretnikov. Now, I'm pretty sure this guy was from like Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. I don't know what story mode this guy was the villain of, but Nikolai Veretnikov, this guy's a freaking problem, dude. This guy's dangerous. I'm going to be picking Francisco Prado by decision, though. I think that, honestly, Veretnikov in his last fight could not stop a takedown attempt to save his fucking life. Austin Vanderford literally just took him down whenever he wanted to, completely controlled him, dominated him. And this is a guy that was never anything crazy in Bellator. I know he fought for the belt in Bellator, but he didn't win the belt. It's not like he was like this big name in Bellator. And he just completely destroyed Veretnikov. And we've seen some of these other Bellator guys kind of ruin the mystique of the Bellator plot armor. Not to mention, this guy went life and death with Danny Barlow. Francisco Prado, this guy lost to bloody Jake Matthews, mate, by decision. There's nothing wrong with that, bro. I lost to Jake Matthews by decision at the fucking YMCA last week, mate. There's nothing wrong with it. Prado's a fucking blockhead, dude. He has a solid chin. He's usually on the front foot. He's aggressive. He lands some nice boxing combos. And I do think he's going to be able to mix in wrestling if he wants to and beat Veretnikov by unanimous decision. I'm going to say Francisco Prado wins this fight by unanimous decision, 30-27, maybe a 29-28. Let's move on to what we're all here to really talk about. This is not only what should have been the co-main event, this is the people's main event. This is the people's fight, dude. This is it, man. Brendan Allen versus Marvin Vettori. And I know that you guys think I fucking hate Brendan Allen because I picked him against Imavov and I crashed out at him at 3 a.m. in my underwear. And I know that you guys, you think I switched up on him for fucking Anthony Hernandez and Rainier Derrida, but I'm here to tell you right now, Brendan Allen still got it. Brendan Allen still fucking got it. I see a twinkle in this young man's eye. I don't see any extra chromosomes in this fight. I see this guy with a twinkle in his eyes and a dream in his heart, and I think he's going to beat the fuck out of Marvin Vettori, dude. I'm picking Brendan Allen. I believe in you, Brendan Allen. Please don't let me down again. Please, brother. I can't take anymore. I'm just going off the fact that, honestly, these guys are almost like reverses of each other. Like, Marvin Vettori is almost like a bizarro version of fucking Brendan Allen, where it's like, Brendan Allen, he has a sus chin, he has sus fight IQ, but he's actually a really good grappler. He has very solid wrestling. He took down Chris Curtis, who has very high takedown defense. Had moments where he was out scrambling, almost submitted Anthony Hernandez, took down Imavov, controlled him for a whole round, could have beat him, had success on the feet. He has a sus chin, sus fight IQ, elite level skills. Marvin Vettori is like the fucking opposite of that, where he has no skills, but he has a god tier chin, and just does enough to survive to a decision. I think Brendan Allen's just a better version of Marvin Vettori. Like, I think if this division turns to dog shit, Brendan Allen is 3 wins away from a title shot at all points in time. He's still fucking got it, dude. He rocked Anthony Hernandez. He showed great grappling in that fight. He was able to scramble, land some good, shots on the feet, rocked him pretty badly, like I said. Almost had some submission attempts that went through on that fight. Chris Curtis, someone that has very solid takedown defense, kind of a similar blocky kind of boxing style. Brendan Allen was able to survive on the feet, take him down, control him, land some good shots on the feet early on in that fight as well. He's shown that his chin has improved. His grappling has always been very, very high level. He submitted Kevin Holland. So I do think Brendan Allen is really good. And I do think that even though, yes, sometimes he's fucking retarded, I think he will beat Marvin Vettori. I think he's going to piece up Marvin Vettori on the feet. I think he's the thing. And another thing about this as well is, like, I made a joke about it in the bingo card video, but Brendan Allen, even if he makes a dumb mistake in this fight, what is Marvin Vettori actually going to do to you, bro? Who is Marvin Vettori knocking out in the UFC, bro? Who is Marvin Vettori submitting, right? Like Anthony Hernandez, there's a threat there of him, controlling you and just taking anything you give him and landing big ground and pound and, threatening chokes, Nafstin and Mavov, you give him a window, he's going to start piecing you up. He's going to build momentum. All these guys. What is Marvin Vettori actually going to do to you? I don't think he's going to be able to do enough to try and beat Brendan Allen, whether it's a submission or a TKO. I think Brendan Allen, for the most part, is going to be more skillful than Marvin. Just bigger, a little bit better. I think he's going to piece him up, maybe rock him at some point in the first round. I can see that happening. I feel like the chin of Vettori is starting to disappear with all these fights. And oh my God, this guy's 31 years old, bro. I didn't even realize he's only 31. That's fucking insane. But Marvin is genuinely washed at 31 years old. I'm sorry. I'm picking Brendan Allen by decision. 30-27. I'm picking Brendan Allen, dude. Main event of the prelims, we got Vinicius Oliveira versus Kyler Phillips. Dude, Kyler Phillips is in the freaking Matrix, dude. Dude, this young man's in the freaking Matrix, man. I'm picking Vinicius Oliveira by TKO. Kyler Phillips is weird because I feel like when you look at this guy, you think of him as this crazy striker, but his best moments in the UFC are mainly like throwing a spinning wheel kick that no one gets hit with and grappling. Like, I look at all of his fights and he mixes in grappling so much. And I don't really think he actually has this striking ability to hang with Vinicius Oliveira. He's very jittery, very weird on the feet early on. He's very jumpy. He runs in and out of range, like he darts in and out. And I think Vinicius Oliveira is just a lot more smooth than him on the feet. And I think he has, very solid takedown defense. We saw against Bernardo Sapaj in his debut. He got controlled for a decent amount of time. But since then, made Said Nurmagomedov go 1 of 9 on takedowns. Froze up Ricky Simone, who I think Ricky Simone is just better than fucking Vinicius Oliveira. He's, and Vinicius Oliveira beat the fuck out of Ricky Simone. He literally had me thinking Ricky Simone's going to get cut from the UFC. He beat him that bad. Just pieced him up at range, landed big calf kicks, styled on him, doing weird spinning back kicks to the leg. I think in this fight, Kyler Phillips is going to be jittery and weird on the feet. I don't think it's going to be easy for him to get his grappling going. I think he's going to, dart in and out of range really nervously, really jittery. And I think at some point he's going to pull out of range and get blasted with a big right hand as he's going back and get dropped. I could see this being like an early stoppage type moment, but I'm going to say Vinicius Oliveira does drop him badly at some point when he's pulling out of range. Maybe he whips up a head kick and drops him. That'd be kind of crazy, but I definitely feel like that's something that can be exploited from Kyler Phillips, is the way that he really carelessly just jumps out of range when he's done hitting you. Like, he's just trying to get out of there as quickly as possible. And I think somebody as fluid and as smooth as Oliveira on the feet, with solid takedown defense, with good momentum, I think he's going to be able to hurt him at some point and get the finish. I'm going to say Vinicius Oliveira wins that fight. Round 2, round 3 TKO, something like that. I'm going to say Oliveira, Brendan Allen, Prado, Gotier, Dulatov, Jimmy Crute, Ryan Spann, Bruno Ferreira, Carly Judice. These are my picks for the prelims. Pretty sure that's all favorites, but this card is not really that hard to predict in my opinion. Maybe I'm cut to me going fucking 2-10 on predictions because the UFC fucking hates me. Regardless, those are my picks for the prelims. Let's talk about the main card, man. First fight of the night, we got freaking MJ out there. Unk still got it. Versus Daniel Zellhuber. Now, this pains me as like a real deal, like 2018, 2019 UFC enjoyer, bro. Like, this is when I got into the sport. I'm picking Daniel Zellhuber by decision. I really don't rate this guy that highly. I don't understand why this guy is a fucking minus 600. I don't know whether people saw this and think it's like, oh, Ryan Garcia versus Michael Johnson. That's a weird fight to make. Daniel Zellhuber, minus 600? Are you fucking kidding me? MJ's not even that bad at this point in his career. He's on a fucking 2-fight winning streak. I still feel like Michael Johnson has some of the best takedown defense and just straight up one-shot KO power in the unranked section of the lightweight division. I feel like he's a tough fight for pretty much everybody that fights him except random jobbers that have no business beating him. Like, if you're an underdog against MJ, I'm worried you might be able to beat him. But otherwise, I think he's going to have some moments here and there, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to win this fight. I think he maybe rocks Zellhuber at some point, or maybe mixes in a takedown and gets some control time, because he is reaching crafty vet status at this point. But I think Daniel Zellhuber with a big reach advantage, a big range advantage, just fighting long with front kicks, jabs, using his boxing, using his footwork, just moving away, frustrating MJ by moving around on the outside. We know he has some solid front chokes if you shoot a bad takedown as well. I don't really think that's a big factor with Michael Johnson, but he is the type of guy to randomly get submitted when he's winning, so that's possible. And we know Daniel Zellhuber has a crazy chin. Like that Ribovic fight, bro was on fucking death's doorstep for that entire third round. He survived, so I think even if he gets rocked, he'll be able to recover, and I think he will win this fight by decision. Like I said, there's always a possibility that MJ just randomly beats him or is winning the entire fight and then gets submitted in round 3, but I'm going to say Daniel Zellhuber wins by unanimous decision. And also, Michael Johnson's on a fucking winning streak, dude. You can't have the ultimate coin flip legend of the UFC on a 3-fight winning streak. I'm sorry, that's just not that. I just don't see that happening. So I'm going to say Daniel Zellhuber wins by decision, but again, Michael Johnson is one of the most unpredictable forces in UFC history. It's genuinely, you might as well flip a fucking coin. He could easily win this fight. He could also easily get destroyed in the first round. I'm going to say Daniel Zellhuber by decision, okay? Next fight of the night, we've got Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. You know what, dude? You know what, man? I'm going to fucking do this. I'm going to pick fucking Pitbull one last time. I'm going to give you one more chance, Mr. Worldwide. I'm going to give you one more fucking chance to prove yourself. I don't think Dan Ige is this elite fucking I'm sorry. Dan Ige is a gatekeeper. That's all I need to say. Dan Ige is a gatekeeper. If you're not ranked material, you're not beating Dan Ige. If you're an unranked random on a win streak, you're getting chinned by fucking Dan Ige. If Dan Ige has lost a fight and needs to bounce back and you're an unranked guy in the Apex, you are getting sent to the fucking Shadow Realm. When he's coming off a win and he's fighting someone with a big name that has ranked level skill set, and I think Patricio Pitbull is a ranked level fighter in the UFC even at this point, I think Dan Ige loses this fight. I think that Patricio Pitbull does have the level of striking, wrestling, especially his grappling, like his BJJ and his wrestling. We saw even against Yair Rodriguez, once he got comfortable, he was able to threaten some submissions, take him down, control him a little bit. I think against Dan Ige, he's going to look a lot better, and I don't think he gets chinned. I think here's how I see this fight playing out. I think early on, Patricio Pitbull is going to start out really fast because of how bad his last performance was. He's going to land some decent shots, some big calf kicks, do his little Cejudo thing at range, land a big right hand, maybe back up Dan Ige a little bit. Ige kind of nods his head like, yeah, good shot. And then I think I could see him getting dropped at the end of the first round or like midway through the first round with an overhand. But I think once Pitbull locks in and mixes in his grappling, he's going to be able to take down and control Dan Ige. Every single person that's beat Dan Ige in the UFC, they have something in common. Bryce Mitchell, TKZ, Calvin Kattar, Lerone Murphy, Diego Lopez. All of these guys on the feet, they got clipped a little bit by him. Movsar Evloev as well, got clipped on the feet a little bit. And then they started to mix in the wrestling and the pressure, and they were able to control Dan Ige. He doesn't have submission threat off his back. He doesn't have, rangy, dangerous striking. He's not a giant featherweight like Yair Rodriguez. I think Pitbull's going to look a lot better in this fight compared to how he did against Yair Rodriguez. I think he's going to be able to control Dan Ige a lot easier when he gets takedowns. And I've seen Bryce Mitchell, TKZ, Calvin Kattar, Lerone Murphy, all of these guys, Diego Lopez, out-wrestle Dan Ige, control him, beat him up with ground and pound, threaten submissions, all that type of stuff to win by decision. Dan Ige is extremely durable, and he does have good power. I think he will drop Pitbull at some point, but I think he's going to lose this fight by unanimous decision. I'm going to say Dan Ige loses, and Patricio Pitbull wins by 29-28 decision on this fight. All right, man. Next fight of the night, we got Kevin Holland versus D-Rod. Damn. I wonder who's going to fucking win this fight, man. I really, really wonder who's going to win this fight, whether it's 32-year-old ranked on a win streak Kevin Holland or 40-year-old coming off one win D-Rod. Man, I wonder who's going to fucking win. Kevin Holland by submission in round 1. Done. I know he's such a goofball on the feet, but it's like he has a crazy iron chin. He has great durability. He's always in shape. He has fluky one-shot KO power. He actually looked like he was, improving his technique against Vicente Luque. And I feel like he could drop D-Rod in this fight and latch up an Anaconda or a Das. I could honestly see this guy slipping off a fucking head kick or getting knocked down and latching up some sort of armbar similar to what he did against Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I feel like D-Rod, if you're getting submitted by Neil Magny, you will get submitted by Kevin Holland inside 2 rounds. And this, to me, just strikes me as let's just pad out the win streak of Kevin Holland. I'll be very, very shocked if D-Rod wins this fight, because I think the only people that are gonna beat Kevin Holland are like super talented grapplers, like people that are genuinely high-level grapplers that are in their prime, that are serious about becoming a UFC champion. I think D-Rod's going to land some big shots early on, and then I think at some point he's going to get submitted late round 1, early round 2. And while I'm here, I am the Kevin Holland whisperer on YouTube. I feel like I know Kevin Holland so well. I mean, I got his last fight wrong against Luque, but every other fight I've got accurately with Kevin Holland. So I'll let you know what's going to happen with Kevin Holland in his next couple of fights. I think Kevin Holland's going to win 1 or 2 more fights on this win streak. Look really good. And then I think he's going to accept a short notice main event or title elimination bout way up the rankings and get finished. And then he's going to go back to fighting unnamed randoms that are barely in the fucking top 30 of the welterweight division. Maybe go back up to middleweight for one random fight. This is the script with Kevin Holland. Trust me, I played these games before. That's going to happen. But Kevin Holland will win that fight easily by submission, dude. I'll be shocked if he fucking loses, all right? Co-main event of the evening, again. Crazy fight, man. We got Paulo Costa versus Roman Copilov, dude. Wow. I really can't wait to watch this one, man. Such a sick fight, dude. I really care about the outcome of this, man. I'm going to pick Roman Copilov by decision. I think that he has a speed advantage. He has better defense. He has more output on the feet, more momentum going into this fight. And I think that he's going to mix up kicks to all 3 levels. I think he's going to struggle to land effective leg kicks on Paulo Costa because he does actually, throw very good ones of his own. And I think that's going to stifle Copilov a little bit. But front kicks, head kicks, body kicks, and then boom, 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 boom. Couple of punches right down the middle from Copilov. I feel like he's going to be just repeat that over and over again, move around on the outside. Maybe Paulo Costa wins the 3rd round because I do think he has a cardio advantage. I think he does have a physicality and a grappling advantage, but even then, Copilov has improved his grappling. He does have like 87% takedown defense as well, so he's not easy to take down. It's not like there's a big hole in his game. I think that Paulo Costa may be able to win the 3rd round based on cardio, like I said, maybe mixing in some body shots, but I feel for the most part, it's going to be Paulo Costa just standing in the middle, sticking his tongue out, emoting, acting like fucking Yoel Romero, getting blasted with body kicks, throwing little pitter-pat calf kicks here and there, winging big hooks, throwing a spinning head kick here and there, trying to do enough to be entertaining, but how can you pick Paulo Costa in this fight? What fight, dude, the Uriah Hall fight, man, seriously, dude, like, what fight are you actually supposed to look at and be like, yeah, dude, Paulo Costa wins this? I don't even rate Roman Copilov that highly. I know Lucas Tracy has this guy in his top 30 all time, but Roman Copilov to me is just an active, skillful middleweight contender that I think could be in the top 10, maybe lose to some of these guys up there. But Paulo Costa, there's unranked people. I'm like, you know what? I think this guy would beat Paulo Costa. And I don't think Paulo Costa cares about that shit anymore. So in that situation, I'm just going to pick Roman Copilov by decision. 30-27, maybe a 29-28 scorecard. Roman Copilov just pieces up Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa emotes, pretends like he doesn't care, and gets cut from the UFC and goes to fight Yoel Romero and fucking BKFC or something. Main event of the evening, we've got Max Holloway versus Dustin. Dude, it's the last fucking dance, dude. It is what it is, dude. Bad time's a fucking scumbag, dude. The guy fucking picked against me in my fucking retirement, dude. The guy, you know what you fucking did, dude. I'm sorry, brother. I'm picking Max Holloway by decision. It is what it is, brother. It is what it was, and it was what it is, brother. Max Holloway, I'm feeling a 49-46 decision. I already made a full video about this, so make sure you check that out. But basically, I feel like Dustin Poirier early on is going to be dangerous. I think he's going to be throwing those calf kicks. I think he's going to be able to land good counter punches early on. But as the fight goes on, I think Max Holloway has better cardio, better movement, better mobility, more versatility, especially at this point in Poirier's career, coming off so many injuries in the Makhachev fight. And I feel like as the fight goes on, the difference is going to be the output of Max where he's made slight improvements in his power. We saw it against Arnold Allen, TKZ, Justin Gaethje, even Ilya. He was able to land some nice shots against him that definitely damaged him. He's more versatile on the feet. Dustin Poirier has some nice, calf kicks, good boxing combinations, good body work. But Max Holloway is going to be throwing body kicks, calf kicks, knees, step in knees, big elbows on the break of clinches, spinning back kick to the body. All of these weapons, which we've seen him use so effectively against similar fighters like Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria, and have good success against them. We also know that he's improved his defense. I believe his defensive numbers of significant strikes is at like 58, 59% right now. Pretty solid. Pretty solid considering how many wars this guy has been in. He's definitely cleaned it up a lot. I mean, there's still some holes there, and I do think he will get counterpunched a little bit early on, rushing into to Dustin Poirier. But we saw him be a little bit more patient when he had Gaethje and TKZ hurt badly. And I think coming off a loss and his first KO loss, Max Holloway is going to be a little bit more tentative, a little bit slow early on. We've seen it before. Like he came back against Arnold Allen and I believe against Calvin Kattar as well. Starting out a little bit, and Yair Rodriguez as well, that whole kind of run where he'll win a couple, then lose one to the champ, then come back and have to kind of rebuild himself a little bit. When he's coming back like that, he definitely does start a little bit slow, and against big punches as well, he's very patient at this point in his career. I think the biggest thing he's worried about is the damage he's taken, especially after that Volk 3 fight. So I think early on, Dustin Poirier will be a little bit more active, maybe landing bigger shots. Maybe he rocks Max a little bit at some point. But I think as the fight goes on, Max Holloway is going to settle in. His chin's still going to be there. He's going to be able to pick up the volume, mix things up, go to the body, go to the legs, mix up some nice combinations up top, piece up Poirier a little bit with just more output, doing more, and just being more mobile. Like Dustin Poirier looked good in his last fight, but he has slowed down a little bit on the feet. Like he got rocked by Islam Makhachev. I know people disagreed with me, but I'm not changing my opinion on this. When I rewatched that Gaethje 2 fight, Poirier was missing majority of his punches. He landed one good punch against Gaethje in the first round and rocked him. The rest of that fight, he's missing everything and getting frustrated. He got schooled by fucking Big Rufus. In my opinion, that's a schooling. When you're missing everything, you're getting frustrated and you run into a fucking head kick, you're getting schooled by fucking Big Grunt Rufus. So I think Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier are at different points in their career where Max Holloway is just going to be a little bit quicker, but making some improvements from their second fight where he's a little bit more, calculated with what he's doing. He's mixing up better combinations. He's using more weapons than just the boxing. He's able to, adjust to that 155 feeling a little bit better with more time to prepare with the fight against Rufus already as well. And I think that during this fight, there's going to be emoting. There's going to be, showboating respect moments. But overall, Max Holloway is going to do a little bit more damage than last time. Pour it on when Dustin's up against the fence. And I think, honestly, the biggest difference is going to be the defense. I think Dustin Poirier is going to miss a lot more than he expects to. And I think he's going to slow down a little bit. He'll land some good shots here and there, but I think most of these moments will be Max Holloway landing big combinations, mixing things up, moving around on the outside. Just a slightly less dominant version of the Gaethje fight, in my opinion. Like a slightly less dominant version of his performance at UFC 300. Starts out a little bit tentative, maybe loses the first round. I'm going to say Max Holloway wins by 49-46 decision, or maybe a late round TKO, like round 4 or 5 up against the fence. But I'm going to say Max Holloway respects Dustin Poirier too much to really, really, really go in there with that intent. I feel like he's going to go out there definitely trying to beat Poirier and, piece him up. But I feel like this fight has decision vibes at the end where they're both, showing respect and all that stuff. Maybe I'm fucking wrong, but that's my thoughts. I do think Max Holloway is definitely going to win this fight, though. But I'm looking forward to this main event. The rest of the card, I hope the fights are entertaining. The card is fucking dog shit in my opinion. This is not a pay-per-view level card. And I don't care how much of a fake hardcore you are to defend this and act like it's a great card. These are all individually good fights, but they're not combined together worth $80. That's just my opinion on it. But hey, these are my predictions. Let me know yours in the comments down below. If you guys are enjoying the videos, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA, and I will see you guys in the next video, man. Goodbye.